Just to have a few observations on what some other people have talked about, and I'd like to emphasize some things that I think in this time are very important that we all need to do, not just as, and we are, you know, some people don't like to refer to us as victims, but that's why we're here. We are victims. We'll be victims our entire lives. There's nothing wrong or shameful about being a victim. But you turn that around and you use it. If you're in combat and you get shot, you're a victim, okay? But if you can get up and keep going, you go. So I'd like to remind folks that Nancy Schaefer got an interview with Alex Jones. And I have, you know, when I first heard of Alex Jones, first heard him years ago, I thought this guy was a nut. I mean, the things he was talking about were just unbelievable. And so far removed from anything else that you hear in the media that I think that's why most people tend to be averse to the things he talks about. And he is a relatively young person. He's only 36. I'm 56. So his style tends to be brusque, and it's totally different from things you hear like on the mainstream media that are more polished, but it's more polished propaganda. And so we need to understand that this issue we're here for as victims of the family courts is part of a greater picture. We got to understand what's happening across the planet. And until you turn off your TVs and listening to the mainstream media, we're not going to change anything. We need to understand why our economy's going down the tubes. Education is great. A previous speaker talked about that. I'm all for that. We should have free education. But if the economy is trashed, there's no jobs. You can come out of college with a great degree. But guess what? You can work at McDonald's. So I just remind people that Nancy Schaefer got a wide audience with Alex Jones. Alex Jones talks about family court and CPS more than any other news person I know of. We need to start listening to, supporting, subscribing to. I listen to him every day, and he's talking about the real important issues. I mean, our whole issues, the reason we're here, are just a part of the big picture. We've got to understand that big picture. What's going on with the economy? Regarding the vet suicides, I am a veteran. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, but luckily I had the foresight to be reading the foreign policy magazines at that time. This was in the early 80s. I saw that we'd eventually be going to war over either Israel or oil in the Persian Gulf. And eventually we did, but I didn't re-enlist for that reason. I didn't want to have any part of it. Now, you know, I support the veterans, but what I'm saying now is going to sound like I'm against the veterans, but I'm not. I'm all for them, but they need to wake up too. And we as parents need to wake up our kids who are considering going in the military at this time in history. My own son has enlisted in the Marine Corps, and I'm doing my best to talk him out of it. Not because I'm against military service, I'm all for it, but not when there is insane leadership in the White House and in that building, the greatest house of prostitution in this country. We live in a corporate fascist state. Until you understand that, you can go in here and talk to these people, but 90% of them or more are not going to care about you. They only care about getting elected. Okay? They're bought and paid for, just like Barack Obama is paid for. And if you haven't watched Alex Jones's films, I recommend you go to this website. It's called Change the Channel. It's Change DA Channel at YouTube. So you go youtube.com/Change the Channel. This guy he has a director's channel on YouTube, and he can put an entire movie up there without breaks. Usually most of the movies on YouTube and on the internet are like 10 minutes at a time. Well, he gets a very high quality video on. You can watch the whole movie. Please do that. And watch these movies over and over again, because I don't know, I mean, I've got a degree in history, psychology, and government, and I don't know of any more in-depth coverage of world events that you get from these movies put out by Alex Jones. This is a great man. I consider him the George Washington of our time in the Infowar. The biggest problem we have in this country is we don't get the news. We don't know what's really going on. We've got corporate media feeding us half-truths, entertainment, lies, and it's about mind control. They want to keep you stupid consumers who will not challenge the system. Mainstream media really is a mouthpiece for what's across the river, the Pentagon, and for these jokers in here, Congress critters. You can't get blood from a turnip, and that's a house full of turnips. They're bought and paid for. They only care about getting reelected. It would be great to think we could come to Washington, talk to your congressman, get something changed, something done. It's not going to happen. We need to change our electoral system. You've got to get rid of the electronic voting machines. We have to have real, hand-counted elections. A gentleman before me talked about poverty. Well, that's right, he's right. Poverty follows from ignorance. The education is part of that, but again, it comes back to the economy. You know, our economy continues to go down the tubes. We get real unemployment of around 25%, say the experts who know. And what are we going to do about that? We've got to take our country back. Yeah, do it on a local level. I applaud the people who have the resources to run locally. That's great. Do that. But I was coming back to the veteran situation. Well, why are these people committing suicide? Could it possibly be, and this is a hard question, but could it possibly be because once they go to Iraq and Afghanistan and find out why they're there, that's hard to live with. Isn't that really the reason why they're committing suicide? They realize they've been killing people for bad reasons. They realize that in Afghanistan, they're over there guarding the poppy fields now because they're afraid that, well, we can't let the Taliban get the poppies. So our military is over there now growing and guarding the poppy fields to supply heroin. It's money. It's all about money. Okay? Our government is involved with drug dealing. It has been for many, many years. You've got to wake up, not fear, to find out what's really going on. Turn off your TVs, find out what's really happening. Alex Jones is the best outlet I know of to do that with. If somebody else knows a better source of news, please let me know. That's all I had to say. Thank you.